All right, welcome back. We're going to learn how to use the math method, passing in a function call so that we can add custom objects or key value pairs to our my items array. Okay, I'll just paste the code first if you need it. Here it is. Okay, so here's the function definition that we're going to call inside of map. You see that it can take an unlimited amount of arguments separated by commas. So we can pass in as many objects as we want, and it will add each of these property and values into our objects. So if we open this up, all of these will have hello, made by, right? Blah, 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 and year 2023, because that's what we have here. And it doesn't even matter that in some of our arguments, the objects have more key value pairs than others. This works no matter what, right? And it also works if it's just one object as well. So if I delete everything except for the year, whoops, like this, it'll still work. So they're all going to have the year like this. Okay, let's write this function step by step and see what we can do. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand that to pass a function inside of map, you can either pass a function definition, which map will run, or a function call, which map will evaluate, gets the return value. And if that return value is a function definition, it'll run that function definition. Okay, so let's do function. And I will call this add new pairs, as in key value pairs. And we're going to take an unlimited amount of arguments, so I have to use the spread operators, and I will call this, let's just call it obj. Okay, now we might pass in multiple objs, like I said, so we have to merge all those key value pairs into one obj, right? So the fastest way, const merged, will be equal to obj.reduce. Remember, spread operator turns all your arguments into an array of arguments. So you can use reduce. Reduce takes in accumulator, init. We don't need a second argument. What are we going to return? We're going to return an object where we'll spread in the current object, which is accumulator, and also the next object, which is init, right? And then down here, I'll just console.log merged. And then let's test this. Add new pairs. Let's just do one name, blah, blah. Let's do one more object, age, 5,000. All right, so, oh, that's because I forgot to spread in init. So now we see that our merge is just one object with the two key value pairs that we wanted. Cool. All right, now, is there any ways we can improve this function? Well, can we just move this up here? So can we do this? It's not working. Why is that? Well, when you do an arrow function, you can't not return an object, because if you type in a curly brace, it thinks that you're trying to do a code block, right? So that's why I have to return it down here. But one way around that, let me copy this first. Oh my gosh, I can't copy today. So instead of this, how about we just return new object and then pass that in, right? And then now we can use the fat arrow return like this. Okay, so after we merge it, we want to return the function definition, which map will run. Okay, now I will call this current obj, and I will also take advantage of the index as well. Remember, since this will run inside of map, this refers to the objects in each iteration, and I refers to the iteration. Okay, so now what are we returning? Well, actually, we're going to return the same thing. We're going to return new object, because I'm lazy, right? Now, inside of this new object, we have to spread in the current object that map is iterating through. So in this case, current obj will be this whole obj on loop 1, right? So current obj. Then we're also going to spread in merged from our arguments. And thanks to closure, right, we still have access to our merged variable, even though we are running this other function that got returned inside of map, but we still have access to this. Okay. All right. So that seems to be it. So now we can do const test will be equal to my items dot map, and this reads really well too. Map what? Well, map and add these new pairs. Right. Let's just do one for now. Creator Philip. Okay. Console.log test. You see that they all have Philip now. Okay. Year 2023. They all have Philip and year 2023. Remember, the order of the properties are not guaranteed in an object, just so you know. Now, if you want to do another object, let's do that. I'll just do year 2 and creator 2 and just add some random numbers. Okay. So now if we open this, all of those merged in as well for each of these objects. How cool is that? Okay, so I hope this was useful. Remember that things like this only work inside of map, right? Because it works in conjunction of how map works underneath the hood, right? And we had to use a function call that returns a function definition so that we can take advantage of using arguments, right? Because if you just do a normal map, like my items.map, whatever function you pass in here, you cannot have your own arguments because the arguments inside of a function inside map, whatever you call this, will refer to the object. It cannot refer to something else that you want, like your own custom object, right? Okay, I hope all this was helpful.